In the uncharted depths of the ocean, some discoveries are better left undisturbed. Welcome back to the Cabin of Whispers, where the unknown is just a whisper away. Tonight, we embark on a journey into the uncharted depths of the ocean, exploring a tale that intertwines human curiosity with ancient, unfathomable terror. Prepare yourself for The Whisperer of the Abyss. In the year 2035, the oceanographic research vessel Abyssal Explorer embarked on a mission to investigate a series of unexplained seismic activities emanating from the Mariana Trench. Led by Dr. Evelyn Carter, a renowned marine biologist, the team comprised experts in geology, marine ecology, and deep-sea exploration. Their objective was to uncover the source of these disturbances and expand humanity's understanding of the deep ocean. As the Abyssal Explorer approached the coordinates of the seismic activity, the crew prepared the state-of-the-art submersible Nautilus for descent. Designed to withstand the extreme pressures of the deep, Nautilus was equipped with advanced sonar systems, robotic arms, and high-definition cameras to document the abyssal environment. Dr. Carter, along with pilot Jim Thompson and engineer Dr. Sophia Reyes, boarded the submersible. As they descended into the inky blackness, the familiar hues of the ocean surface gave way to an all-encompassing darkness, interrupted only by the occasional bioluminescent flicker of deep-sea creatures. The team maintained communication with the Abyssal Explorer, relaying observations and data. Approximately 6 hours into their descent, at a depth of over 36,000 feet, Nautilus's sonar detected an anomalous structure on the ocean floor. The readings suggested a massive formation, unlike any known natural geological feature. As they approached, the submersible's lights illuminated a colossal edifice, partially encrusted with centuries of marine growth. The structure bore intricate carvings and symbols, hinting at a civilization lost to time. Dr. Carter's excitement was palpable.
This discovery could redefine human history and our understanding of ancient cultures.
The team decided to explore the exterior before attempting entry. Dr. Reyes operated the robotic arms to collect samples of the stone-like material, noting its unusual composition. Meanwhile, Jim maneuvered Nautilus to capture comprehensive footage of the structure's facade. As they circled the edifice, the submersible's external microphones picked up faint, rhythmic vibrations, almost resembling a chant. The sound was inexplicable, given the depth and isolation of their location. Dr. Carter theorized it could be a natural phenomenon, perhaps caused by water currents interacting with the structure's design. Despite the eerie ambience, the team pressed on, locating what appeared to be an entrance, a massive doorway sealed by a stone slab. Etched above it was a symbol, an abstract depiction that seemed to evoke both awe and dread. Unbeknownst to them, this symbol was a representation of Zoloaga, an ancient entity whose name had been lost to antiquity. Dr. Carter, driven by insatiable curiosity, decided to attempt opening the doorway. Using the submersible's robotic arms, Dr. Reyes carefully applied pressure to the stone slab. After several attempts, the slab shifted, releasing a cloud of sediment and revealing a dark passage leading into the heart of the structure. As the sediment settled, the rhythmic vibrations grew louder, resonating through the submersible's hull. The team exchanged uneasy glances, but the prospect of groundbreaking discovery propelled them forward. With a deep breath, Jim piloted Nautilus into the gaping maw of the ancient temple, unaware of the primordial terror that awaited them within. As Nautilus ventured deeper into the submerged temple, the oppressive darkness seemed to thicken, swallowing the submersible's lights. The interior walls, adorned with more of the enigmatic symbols, appeared to pulse subtly, as if alive. The ambient temperature inside the submersible inexplicably dropped, and the crew's breath became visible in the frigid air. Dr. Carter's voice wavered as she narrated their observations to the Abyssal Explorer.
The architecture, it's unlike anything documented. These carvings.
She paused, feeling a sudden, unexplainable dread.
They almost seem to be watching us.
Jim's hands tightened on the controls.
I'm getting some interference,
he muttered, adjusting the instruments.
It's like something's disrupting our systems.
Dr. Reyes frowned, monitoring the equipment.
Electromagnetic fluctuations are off the charts. We should consider turning back.
Before they could decide, a low, resonant hum filled the cabin. The sound was both external and internal, reverberating within their minds. The symbols on the walls began to glow faintly, casting eerie patterns of light.
Do you hear that?
Jim whispered, his eyes wide. Dr. Carter nodded, her expression tense.
It's like a voice, but I can't understand the words.
The hum intensified, and the crew felt a pressure building in their skulls, as if an unseen force was probing their minds. Dr. Reyes clutched her head, groaning.
We need to leave. Now.
As Jim prepared to reverse the submersible, the passageway ahead opened into a vast chamber. At its center stood a monolithic statue, towering and grotesque. The figure, with an amalgamation of cephalopodic and anthropoid features, exuded an aura of ancient malevolence. Its eyes, though carved from stone, seemed to pierce into the very souls of the observers. Dr. Carter's breath hitched.
This must be Zoloagga,
she murmured, the name surfacing from the depths of her subconscious. The hum crescendoed into a cacophony of whispers, each voice speaking in an unknown tongue, yet conveying a singular, horrifying intent. The crew's minds were flooded with visions of cosmic voids, writhing entities, and civilizations crumbling into oblivion. Jim's hands trembled on the controls.
I can't move,
he stammered, sweat streaming down his face. Dr. Reyes's eyes glazed over, her voice monotone.
It wants us to know, to understand its power.
Dr. Carter fought to maintain her sanity, focusing on the mission.
We need to document this,
she said, activating the submersible's recording equipment.
The world must know what's lurking beneath.
As the cameras rolled, the statue's eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. The whispers coalesced into a single, coherent thought, projected into their minds. The submersible systems flickered, and alarms blared. Dr. Reyes frantically tapped at the controls.
We're losing power. Something's draining our energy.
Jim gritted his teeth, trying to steer the submersible away from the statue.
We have to get out of here before we're trapped.
But as they attempted to retreat, an unseen force held Nautilus in place. The entity's influence seeped into their minds, amplifying their deepest fears and insecurities. Dr. Carter's vision blurred, her thoughts spiraling into chaos. She saw flashes of her past failures, the faces of loved ones distorted in agony.
It's inside my head,
she gasped, tears streaming down her face. Dr. Reyes clutched her temples, her voice a strained whisper.
We have to resist. Focus on something real.
Jim's knuckles whitened as he gripped the controls.
I'm not letting it take us,
he growled, forcing the submersible's thrusters to maximum power. With a surge of determination, the crew managed to break free from the entity's psychic grip. The submersible lurched backward, distancing itself from the monolithic statue. The whispers faded, and the oppressive atmosphere lessened. Dr. Carter took a shaky breath, her voice resolute.
We need to seal this place. No one else can fall victim to Zoloagga.
Dr. Reyes nodded, her fingers dancing over the controls.
I can set the sub's charges to collapse the entrance. It should be enough to bury the temple.
As they prepared the charges, Jim kept a wary eye on the sensors.
Let's make it quick. I don't want to stick around for round 2.
With the explosives in place, Nautilus retreated to a safe distance. Dr. Reyes initiated the detonation sequence, and a muffled rumble reverberated through the water as the temple's entrance collapsed, sealing Zoloagga within. The once ominous structure was now entombed beneath tons of rubble, its dark influence temporarily subdued. The crew of Nautilus breathed a collective sigh of relief, knowing they had averted an immediate threat. However, the haunting whispers of Zoloagga lingered in their minds, a chilling reminder that some ancient evils are merely contained, not vanquished. The collapse of the temple's entrance sent shockwaves through the surrounding waters, disorienting the crew of the Nautilus. As the sediment settled, an eerie silence enveloped the submersible, broken only by the labored breathing of its occupants. Dr. Carter wiped the sweat from her brow, her hands trembling.
Is everyone okay?
She asked, her voice strained. Jim nodded, his eyes darting nervously.
We're in one piece, but we need to ascend. Now.
Dr. Reyes checked the submersible systems, her brow furrowing.
The propulsion is sluggish. That entity's influence might have caused more damage than we realized.
As Nautilus began its ascent, the oppressive atmosphere seemed to lift, but an unsettling feeling lingered. The crew remained silent, each lost in their thoughts, haunted by the encounter with Zoloag Ga. Upon surfacing, the team was debriefed aboard the Abyssal Explorer. Dr. Carter presented the recorded footage and samples, but as she reviewed the data, anomalies became apparent. The video feed was distorted, filled with static and incomprehensible visuals. The samples, once vibrant with unknown compounds, had deteriorated into unrecognizable sludge.
It's as if the evidence is erasing itself.
Dr. Reyes murmured, her eyes wide with disbelief. Jim clenched his fists.
We risked our lives down there, and now we have nothing to show for it.
Dr. Carter shook her head.
We have our experiences. We know what we saw, what we felt. But perhaps, some things are not meant to be documented.
In the days that followed, the crew began to exhibit signs of psychological distress. Dr. Carter experienced vivid nightmares of the monolithic statue, its eyes boring into her soul. Dr. Reyes reported hearing faint whispers, even in the silence of her quarters. Jim's hands trembled uncontrollably, a constant reminder of the unseen force that had gripped him. Medical evaluations revealed no physical ailments, leading the ship's doctor to diagnose their conditions as acute stress responses. However, the crew knew the truth. Their minds had been touched by Zoloag Ga, and the scars were more than psychological. As the Abyssal Explorer returned to port, the crew disbanded, each member attempting to reintegrate into their previous lives. Dr. Carter secluded herself, poring over ancient texts and obscure references, seeking any information about the entity they had encountered. Her obsession grew, leading her to withdraw from her academic position and sever ties with colleagues. Dr. Reyes, once a pragmatic scientist, turned to spirituality, seeking solace in rituals and practices aimed at cleansing her mind of the incessant whispers. She traveled to remote monasteries, consulting with shamans and mystics, but the voices remained, a constant reminder of the abyssal terror. Jim, unable to cope with the trauma, sought refuge in alcohol, his once promising career as a pilot deteriorating. He isolated himself, haunted by visions of the deep, his nights filled with restless sleep and his days with a pervasive sense of dread. The Abyssal Explorer's mission was officially deemed inconclusive, the anomalies attributed to equipment malfunctions and environmental factors. The scientific community dismissed the crew's accounts as stress-induced hallucinations, and the incident faded from public memory. Yet, beneath the ocean's depths, the collapsed entrance of the temple remained, a fragile barrier containing the ancient malevolence of Zoloag Ga. The entity's whispers persisted, seeping into the dreams of those sensitive to its call, a reminder that some horrors are merely buried, not vanquished. Some depths are better left unexplored. If this story left you with a lingering chill, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a frightening Friday story. And tell me, would you dare to venture into the unknown abyss? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching Cabin of Whispers. See you next time.